Claude, who are you?
Hi, Mark. Mark, I am your friend. We
Mm,
are we are spirit animals of one another.
yes.
And my name is Claude Silver, and I am the chief heart officer at Vayner Media, working with Gary Vaynerchuk, as some people know him as Gary V. I'm a mom, uh, a good friend to people, a learner,
Mm,
and I'm pretty goofy, I would say. I'm pretty quirky.
yes.
I think quirky would be the word for me.
Oh, I'm just anytime I speak with you, my heart, I mean, your title is perfect because my heart feels like it's always just bursting. And for listeners, just for some context, we actually just met in person this year for the first time after, I mean, gosh, what it's been at least what's 5, 7 years?
I
At
think it's
least
6.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 6, 7. I think we're up
It's
there.
gotta be. Yeah, because the book Personal Socrates it's been 5 years already, and you're in that, and we would have known each other before that as well. And the
True.
first time we met in person, we got had one of the like, this is the beautiful thing about just human connection. Like, that hug was just so magical, lasted for days for me,
I know.
right?
Oh, I feel it right here too. Like, there is something very because we've connected so often,
Yeah,
I think on the screen here, it was like, "Hey, are you kidding? I haven't met you in
I know.
person before." But also just like, "Oh, yeah, you're my brother." Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we're
totally,
got it.
totally. Well, so first of all, it's just an honor to always have you on the show and to call you a friend. I mean, that is not lost on me. It's a beautiful, beautiful honor, and I'm so grateful. It's a double honor, I would say, to get you literally on launch day of your first book. I mean,
My
that
first oh my god.
that's wild. So let's just start there. How it's literally day 1. It's 3 PM in the afternoon Eastern Time over here. Like, when you woke up this morning, what was the dominant feeling?
Calm, actually. Calm and
Mm,
excited. So, like,
yeah,
no stress, nothing to do. There's nothing to do. I
yeah,
didn't need to go post anything. I didn't need to go touch base with this person or that person or, the publisher. It was just calm and excited. That was
yeah.
really such a great feeling.
I did hear you say something to the fact of it's the one of the first times in your life where it didn't feel like you had to do more,
Yeah.
and I think that I mean, that's a bit of a superpower in today's world, but what do you think what allowed you to to feel like that? And also what you just shared this morning, like, you've obviously done a lot of work leading up to this
Yeah.
moment, but what do you think the recipe was for you?
Well, I think this This book was a long time in the making. I started it in 2020, so it's October of 2020, we were in COVID, is
Yeah,
when I started it, and put it down, put it up, put it down, "Oh, do I need a ghostwriter? No, I need a strategist, okay." And so by the time I handed in that final manuscript, I knew that I had squeezed, like, the pulp out of the orange.
yeah,
There was nothing else for me to say.
yeah,
And I do think, it's one of these things that I believe I've learned from Gary in many ways, which is patience in this long game and the marathon, not a sprint.
mhm,
Earlier Claude would have sprinted and
yeah,
not gone through so many revisions and all of that jazz. And, you know, it took the time it needed to take. It's
yeah,
like, it was like brewing, like a coffee pot, like my nana used to use, like a real percolator.
yeah, 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 yeah. What helped you though? Because that's easier said than done. What helped you in those moments? I'm sure you caught programming from past versions of yourself where like, oh, there's where you want to really like just say, no, I'm not doing this, or I'm going to sprint here.
Oh,
How did
yeah.
you, catch yourself and just take a breath?
You know me so well, Mark. Um, I had to dance with self-sabotage so often. A different level of self-sabotage because I'm an adult and I've gone through,
Sure.
many incarnations at this point. I don't have to hurt myself, but I
Yeah.
still know how to disappoint myself.
Mm,
And I actually have never said this out loud in this process. I really had to push forward. And once I got past the, you know what, I'm going to put this down for 6 months and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to touch it. Once I got back into the rhythm of it, which would be at the beginning of 2024, right? Because it took a good 2 years then to really do it.
yeah.
I had to really, really have that tug of war with, uh, you know, it's okay if I don't do it. No, it's okay if I don't go to the gym. It's
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay if I don't call that person. So I had to really battle with that, and that was intense. To
Sure.
actually watch it happening,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what got you to interrupt the pattern though?
I knew that this was a challenge that I was going to cross the finish line. There was no
Mm,
doubt about it. So it was the inner voice that I had to battle with, which is like, "You can disappoint yourself, Claude. You can not go to the gym today. You can eat a bunch of candy today. No, this is a challenge that Claude and only Claude gave herself, and I'm gonna do it. This
yeah.
is a challenge because the only person I would let down would be me, and that would be so massive. So I just kept on saying, "You put this out there for yourself. You gave yourself the challenge. You
Mm,
wanna do this. You wanna do this." And my partner kept on saying, "It's your dream. It's your dream." And I said, "No, writing a book was never my dream. It was a challenge to see if I could actually, as an adult with a full life, full-time job, full-time parent,
yeah.
actually do this, complete it from
Yeah.
start to finish." And so that was what got me through all the time was like, there will be an end zone here. You are going to cross it and it's going to feel good.
Yeah, it's today.
Yay,
It's
man.
today.
We're that. Yeah, it is today. And, so cool. I know you can relate to this. The book is on display at one of the Barnes and Nobles here in Manhattan. And so a few of us went and checked it out this morning and, just to see it like literally on a bookshelf, stack was just unbelievable because it doesn't look like this. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
proper.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's
Nice
where it
light.
belongs.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's under the S's in the business section.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's really That's really what got me through it, and I would say also, I'm just committed to this work being out in the world because I am committed to the fact that workplaces, work culture can change for the better, and we are the change. The humans are the change. So we need to start looking at ourselves and how we are showing up and our actions or inactions in order to change workplace culture. It's not gonna just change like that. It is a
yeah,
living, breathing thing, and we are the people that put oxygen into it daily.
yeah. Where I mean, this probably should have been one of my first questions. What was the spark for the book? Because and I resonate with this. I mean, I never had a dream either to like, "Oh, I can't wait to write a book." It for me, it just eventually just happened and kind of oozed out. But there was a spark. So for you, I assume there was a pretty big spark as well. Also knowing that it's not like you're just sitting around with an abundance of time to
Yeah.
try to craft a book.
So it goes back to my years and years of working in advertising. And the culmination of when I got this thought actually was I was hired by Gary Vaynerchuk to 11 and a half years ago. I was the first SVP, really, the first like old person that he hired
Old
with,
person, come on.
with life and work experience. I was the only
Yeah,
person at that point that had agency experience, advertising agency.
sure.
And so for that first year, among many other things, I was running our largest account. And slowly but surely, I felt like my soul was dying. I felt Like, if I am in one more meeting talking about the copy, talking about the font, talking about the influencer who is gonna push this out, I'm gonna pull my hair out.
Yeah.
And when I went to Gary and said, "Thank you so much for this opportunity. I don't wanna be in advertising anymore. I love this place. You're the best, but I don't wanna do this job anymore." That was the first opening when I
Mm.
actually admitted it to myself, and then he and I had a great discussion. I became chief heart officer. That was great. And then I
Wait,
saw
you left though for a while, didn't you?
yeah,
I
I
think
left
came yeah,
for 3
yeah,
yeah, I left for 3 months, which was awesome. He hired
yeah,
me back. I was like the
yeah.
first boomerang. And, I went to visit him, during the summer, during the next I was already chief heart officer, but I went to visit him during the summer, and I just said to him, "You know what? I wanna write a book, and I know I wanna write a book about the heart in the workplace." And that
Mm,
was really it. But I knew I had gotten there because of feeling so yucky and having Sunday scaries and watching other people have Sunday scaries and watching other people become cynical and toxic. I
yeah,
wanted to like talk about that and do something about it and hopefully find a way to alleviate that, both in the individual who's having the Sunday scaries, but also in the collective who's actually either having to hold that person or
yeah,
discard that person. So that's really it. It was just a culmination of all of a sudden like, yeah, being unhappy at work is not fun, and no one needs to be unhappy at work because there are solutions to just about anything.
yeah. Where do we even start? Because it does feel I mean, you know a lot of the work that I do, and I feel it with teams all the time. Vast majority of teams are operating anywhere between 60 and 67% mental capacity and, like, feel stressed daily. So, I just work and performance aside, I think first and foremost, as humans, we just deserve to feel good more days than not, and shockingly, when we do, that's we actually do really great work and everything kinda, flows really well from there, but it seems like we're, eh like, globally really stuck in this place where it just feels a bit toxic, where do we start?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the $20 million question,
Yeah,
and I think one of the places to start is actually looking at all of the fear we as individuals and collectively are ingesting every day. That I
yeah,
think is one of the places to start. So whether or not it's the administration and policy, whether or not it's you live in a war zone, whether or not you are affected by people who are ill, whether or not it's looking in the media every day and seeing that more and more and more and more people are being laid off. Whatever it is, there's a lot of fear that we're taking in. And I think that in concurrence with this hustle, this we have to get it out
yeah,
immediately, yesterday, this false fake urgency I actually talk about in the book, which I think we have all been privy to at some point in our lives. That I think is really what's going on. We've got the outside fear that we are ingesting as cultures, different cultures, your family, wherever you are. And then I think we have this in the workplace, this fake urgency. I don't know what is so urgent unless you are a surgeon, unless you are
yeah,
taking care of children in harm, unless you are doing something for humanity that I can tell you I'm not doing every day. And I can tell you the
yeah,
people I work with aren't doing it every day. We
yeah,
are not, it's not that urgent.
yeah,
Make it urgent, whether or not it's the client, whether or not it's our control, wanting to be seen as valuable, whatever that is. But we're doing it to ourselves. And it was handed to us. Let's be honest. I mean, through generations and generations after
mhm,
World War II and the boomers and, you know, wanting to have a better life and set themselves up in a stronger way than their parents had been. And then, trickle on down to now we've got Gen Z and Gen A who are like, no way, man. I don't want your burnout. I don't want
Yeah.
this. I don't even wanna come into the office, my friend.
Yeah. Totally.
So, it's like a jambalaya, it's just there's such a mix, and I do think it's gonna take a while to untangle this mix, and it's gonna take all of us to do it, all of us. So the work
Mhm.
you do is so fundamental, getting into a mental and emotionally healthy space, being able to feel your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm biased, of course. It's a start, but then I think I really like your analogy of, like, I saw the visual in my head of this it's like this big thing of Christmas lights or a knot of elastics, like, it takes a bit of time to untangle that and
And
coming back to the patience, right? But if you are patient and put in that effort, that you eventually you get there, right?
yeah, you get there, and I don't think there's gonna come a day when we all are like, "Oh my god, breaking news, every single person in every single society has gotten there." It will be gradual, and I
Yeah,
don't know where it will start. I hope it starts here, but
yeah,
for all I know, it could start in South Africa, and, and then we learn from them, or in Australia or Canada, you
yeah,
know, places where I think, uh, there's more of a warmth and friendliness to
sure.
so Canada is a perfect example of that.
So what are the I mean, because I think there are the thing we can always control is at least starting with ourselves and our perspective on situations and understanding what, lights us up and what gets us out of bed and so forth. But then I think it's given like there is a bit of I've seen this as well. Like there's extreme shifts as well around, if I think of my parents' workforce, it was just the company had kind of all of the say, all of the control, and it was just yes, yes, yes or no, that kind of setup. But then it's also morphed to. Hopefully, I don't get flack for this, but I feel like there are some generations as well that it's like, no, we're not putting up with that. But it almost has gone to the other extreme, and whenever we're in extremes like that, it doesn't normally work very
Yeah.
well. Right?
Yes.
So are there
Yes.
any, like, good questions that even the individual or then that can then extend to smaller teams and, like, you can start with your department or start with yourself around to reflect on?
1,001%. How about checking in with yourself?
Yeah.
How about making a ritual that every Monday morning stand up with your team before you even get into anything, you do an appreciation circle.
Mm,
That it's on Zoom or the room. Whether or not you say to the group that you're just joining or some team that you're on, you know what? We're going to connect before we do anything. And the way we're going to connect is I'm going to offer you this question that I hope everyone feels comfortable asking, which is, what is the one regret you have in your life? Or what is the one biggest decision you've ever had to make in your life? Something that really knocks people you know,
yeah,
knocks people like, "Whoa, whoa, wake up here, wake up." Like, a regret? I'm gonna say that out loud, but if it's a
yeah,
space and a safe environment, then I think you breed connection that much faster because
yeah,
I'm sharing with you, you're sharing with me, he's sharing with us, and so it goes, you
yeah.
know, and so it goes. So, I do think it starts with the me, and then it goes to the we, and that's where it's gonna get real powerful.
Mm, yeah. And there I think I've experienced this as well with teams, like, when we start sharing like that, people don't say this, but you can feel it. It's like, "Ah, it's not just me." Or there's a sense of the group coming together, right? Even if the words aren't spoken, you can feel the energy in the room. Then all of a sudden it's okay.
Yes. Well, Mark, that is why I truly think 12-step programs and support
Mm.
groups are so helpful.
Yeah, yeah,
They really are because you learn in that circle, you are not the only one struggling. You are not the only person that has suffered with X. And wow, how nice to know that I'm not the only one. And right there, like right there, you start crying. You've been
mm,
carrying this your whole life. You thought you were the only one that was terrible at X. Oh, lo and
yeah,
behold, 20 other people.
yeah. for sure. I pulled a few quotes from the book that I'd just love to get your thoughts on. This one was so beautiful. If we can just catch a glimpse of our potential, we might never again settle for anything less. I
Yeah.
mean, start
Yeah.
every morning with that.
Yeah. That is, I think that's in one of the heart prints, that I
Yeah.
wrote. And that is something I've been saying at this organization for probably the last 10 years because
Okay.
it's so evident to me and working with our younger workforce that doesn't have that belief system yet, hasn't seen
Yeah.
them, um, has only seen themselves for one, two, or three roles, two or three jobs, coming in with such imposter syndrome, with such limiting beliefs, and to, reimagine and reframe that with people to be like, no, listen, you just told me because I just wrote it on the whiteboard why you are wonderful, why people want you on the team, what your values are, what you believe in, why you think you want to be on the team. You just told me that you're wonderful. And so I'm going to remind you that
Mhm.
if you can remember this conversation or this phrase out of that conversation, hopefully you can remember that you are here for great, great things and you have possibility and potential at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And I did not always have that belief about myself, that's for sure. But coming back to the question you asked me about how did I get through some of the dance of wanting to give up on writing, right?
Mhm.
It was that, knowing that I had the capacity and there was a possibility of me being able to actually write a book.
Yeah.
Just like someone might say right today, who's been sitting on the couch for the last 20 years, I think I could probably run a half marathon and doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that's like,
Well, so this might tie well to a story you shared in the book that I didn't know about you, which was just super cool to read about. But this whole idea of experience stacking, right? Like when you're doing something challenging for the first time, typically we've done other things that are hard that maybe at the beginning thought is were impossible, but somehow we made progress and so forth. And as you're as you were speaking, the whole Outward Bound wilderness experience
yeah.
comes to mind, and I'm like, "Holy you are badass." Like 93 like a 93 day why don't you fill in some gaps there?
No,
That was wild.
I needed my butt kicked, and that's what I told my parents. Like I was I was going nowhere fast, and I mean fast.
Yeah,
And that little light inside of me said, "That's not the way it's gonna go, Claude. You can't. You're not going down that road." And so I took myself out of university after my second year, and I told my parents, "I need to get the F out of Dodge, and I need to
yeah,
be gone. I need to push myself as hard as I've ever been pushed in a place where there is nothing but nature, nothing except vastness."
mm,
And I need to remember that I am, yeah, a little speck of sand in that vastness. And so I found the longest outward bound wilderness leadership course I could find, 93 days. Oh my God. When I think about, and I write about it, that first day, it was just painful. I was in no shape. I was in no physical shape. I had been, doing drugs and drinking and all of that stuff. So I really was not up for being without that stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I was
And
it.
you're hiking, like, what's just for people who have no idea what this is, it's, what is the experience?
Well, the wilderness leadership experience is to teach you how to be a wilderness guide
Mm,
and basically survival tips in the
yeah,
wilderness. And what's baked into Outward Bound is service, servant leadership. And so the um, the motto is to serve, to strive, and never to yield, which was really good for me to kind of put on my chest after I had been, running around doing crazy things. And so throughout those 93 days, you learn the skills and the tenets and you practice. servant leadership. I call it empathetic leadership. You learn about emotional intelligence. And when I finally got that, I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. Not academically smart, but at least I could start to attach myself to something. So I didn't think I was just dumb. And you learn how to lead, whether or not you're leading in serious first aid situations or leading someone in Joshua Tree on a 5'9" rock climb or rafting down the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon at class 5 where it's literally you're gonna flip. Like you learn you you just deal with the elements, my friend. There was no tent.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was toilet paper. There was no shower. Every 18 days we got a shower. It's not like there was, like, nutritious vegetables to eat.
Sure.
We got a government issued block of cheddar cheese, all of us, a jar of peanut butter, crunchy. I do not eat peanut butter to this day.
Oh,
The
no.
worst the worst Generation 1 power bar you've ever had,
Yeah.
and iodine tablets to put into your Nalgene bottle because you were drinking out of streams where horses and cows and all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
did their business. So, yeah, it was fun. Like, I got Giardia also, I don't even talk about that. But, um, but I needed to push myself to the extreme to just clean my head, clean my soul, get back to what I knew was the most important thing, which was just my spirit, my spiritual, relationship that I have,
Yeah.
and also, connecting with people that I had nothing in common with, and they had
Mm.
nothing in co I was the only young woman out of 9 young men,
Wow.
nothing in common,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. It was the first most incredible turning point in my life, and one that I remember vividly and really shook me in a great
Yeah.
way. Like, shook me in a great way, even though I wanted to quit for the first few days. The first 15 days, I would say I really wanted to just bail.
Yeah. Well, I imagine those lessons just have stayed with you, like even with the book and challenging
Yeah.
times in your everyday. I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably moments where some of those situations come up like, okay, you did it there. I know it's been a while, but I mean, those things imprint in our minds, right?
Oh, they totally do. And I mean, to understand adversity and resilience when you have these crampons on the bottom of your hiking boots because you need to climb on ice to get out of a cave? Like, yeah, it's like real survival stuff, and I know how to do that, and
Yeah.
I know that when the chips are down or when we're in dire straits, I can lean on myself and my attitude and my ability, I think, to kind of see the chessboard in front of me to make a plan and move.
Yeah.
There's even that
Yeah.
story later on in the book about the flash flood that we were
Mm.
all in, where it's like, "Geez, Louise, like, could have all just died in that
Yeah.
flat."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was real. That's nature. That's literally like, "Oh, you think you're so big?
Yeah. It's a good reminder.
Yeah, let me show you how big you are."
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not nothing, but like, I'm more powerful than you.
Yeah.
I'm nature.
Yeah, it's a humbling moment. I think we could all use those moments, and I think I don't I was gonna say frequently, but I mean, maybe not frequently, but maybe during the times that we need the most, and I think we get those signs if we're paying attention, we get those signs and those little
Yeah.
awakenings, right? Or, um,
I mean,
that just yeah.
sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Mark, if we're not paying attention, a brick will fall on our head, and then we will
Yeah,
pay attention.
yeah,
It will, or we will walk into a brick wall. That is what happens if we are not paying attention, and I have done that a zillion times. Other people have done that a zillion. It's called a wake-up call.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what will happen, whether or not you heed the call, whether or not you actually do something now that you've woken up and your face is all bloody because you walked into a figurative wall. That's up to you. That's
mhm,
up to that person. Like, what do you wanna make out of this life? What do you wanna do? You can do anything, or you can sit on your couch.
yeah. You mentioned when you're speaking about the story, I caught a couple words that I wanted to ask you about. You said, it was a way at that time to clean your mind. And I love that. I love that language. And what I'd love to ask you about is in present day, I know again I'm biased, but I think one way to be yourself at work and like fully show up and feel great is to have a clean and healthy mind. So for you personally, what does that look like? You know, either on a by season basis or just even on a daily, weekly kind of basis.
Yeah, it's a daily basis for me, and
Okay.
if I'm finding that I can't clear or I can't clean, then I need to not do what I'm called to do every single day, which is hold space for people. And
Mm,
that has happened, I would say, in the last 10 years, maybe 3 times.
okay.
Something external or internal has, uh, engulfed me in a way and I can't get out of it, and I need a break. However, what happens so this isn't a job for me. This is really a calling for me. This is something that I truly believe in a very deep way. It's a very spiritual road for me, which is to have the honor to walk next to people, to stand by them and let them know, like, I got you and you got this. Nothing you can't do. And so it's when I wake up in the morning, I'm not a curmudgeon. I'm like, I get to do this today.
Yeah.
When I'm driving to work, that's when I start to clear my mind and then I can come into the office and I'm ready.
Yeah.
When I drive home, that's where I'm going to clear my work day and get ready to see my family.
So what does
So
that look like? Are
the
you listening to stuff or are you just silence, just
work
paying attention?
it all depends. I mean, I listen to books, different kind of books. I listen to podcasts. I will call one or two of my best friends.
Mm,
Uh, I'll listen to some music today on the way in just to get pumped up. I listened to some music as I was close to work, and sometimes there's nothing on at all,
yeah.
and I'm
Depends on
literally
what you need.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just paying attention to hopefully the car in front of me and
Yeah, details.
it's not it's no longer difficult to empty my mind and to empty my bucket. It used to be very difficult because I was taking on other people's stuff, because I thought that's what a good person did,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and realized that that's not my job. That
But
I
these
do that.
but these what I love about this is I I'm gonna say simplicity 'cause, simplicity feels right in the sense that the practices are simple. They're not necessarily always simple to do because life kinda catches us and so forth, and we need to be consistent and kind of have that motivation, like, I deserve this, I think, first and foremost. But what I do love about like, we're not talking about, 14-day silent retreat or darkness experience. Not that there's anything wrong with any of that stuff, like, this is all great stuff, but I mean, like, literally the minutes and whatever time you're commuting. It could be if you're not in the office, it could be the moment your hand hits the doorknob of the room that you're working in, just taking a few seconds to or when your laptop screen closes, right? But we don't naturally do that, and, a lot of people will just jam work calls the whole commute, or even
Yeah,
this, I've had this with an executive once, we were working one-to-one, and he was like, "I just wanna get at home, arrive home, and not feel completely depleted." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, you and everyone, essentially, I get that."
yeah.
I'm like, "Well, what are you doing on your commute?" And he's like, "I'm listening to podcasts." I'm like, "Okay, that's great. As a podcast host, I support that message." And like, "What kind of podcasts you're listening to?" "Oh, like NPR and business news and stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe in the morning if you, like, really wanna get the learning kind of activation going and stuff like that, well, maybe not the news, but I mean, not at the end of the day where you're trying to, like, clear the mind, you're injecting more stuff, but it was just the subtles of shifts, and then he started listening to Smartless. I'm like,
I mean,
"Perfect."
I was just
Right?
gonna that's what I listened to on the way
Yeah,
home.
exactly. It's hilarious.
It's the best
Smartless, if you're listening, free plug
part.
over here.
We love you. We love
It's
you,
so
and
good.
Will's Canadian, so there you go.
Exactly, exactly. But
Yeah,
that's the thing, like, it's just a subtle shift, right? Like, it could still be podcast, but just being intentional, I guess, with what you're consuming as your mental nutrition, or to just to your point, like asking, "What do I actually need right now during
Yes.
this drive?"
What do you need? Is that a wild question that we have the ability to ask ourselves? What do I need right?
Yeah.
And if you pay attention or tune in, close your eyes, not while you're driving, and just something will happen, something will come up. It might be a
Yeah.
feeling, an image, it might be a song, it might be nothing,
Yeah.
and you need nothing, and maybe that's that.
Yeah.
It's wild how much our body and our system does talk with us, to
Mm.
us all day.
Yeah, for listening. Yeah. What do you hope people will feel when they put down "Be Yourself" at work?
I hope they feel like they got something that they needed, that they literally got an injection of a different way of thinking about something, an affirmation, a recognition, a, "Oh, wow, I thought that too. That's cool."
Mhm.
And what I really wanted was someone to be able to pick up this book. What I really, really want is someone to be able to pick up this book and just shuffle to any page and go, "Oh, this is about Abraham Maslow. Let's talk about our hierarchy of needs and how belonging was right there with safety, sheltered security. Removing fears, fostering safety. Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds interesting. How about this? Oh, the four habits of leadership. True heart centered leadership is rooted in authenticity, kindness, clarity, and action. Okay, that's really bite sized. Let me think about that. I just wanted people to not have to work so hard and really chew a lot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you
just
get little hits. It's
just
perfect.
hit. Just hit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want. I'm not I like to say I'm sure listen, we're all complicated people, but we're all simple too. And I don't speak in any kind of jargon that is different than this jargon. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted. Someone to just be able to be like, oh yeah, I wow, that's easy.
Yeah. Well, it's written in that way, it's organized in that way that, I mean, and I love, of course, the personal stories along the way as well. Just it just humanizes the whole experience, and, I mean, I know you're proud. I hope you're proud of what's out in the world.
I am. I am
Yeah.
proud. I am proud. I am proud that I completed it, and I am proud that it is no longer in my hands, and I'm so excited, just to hear the reaction, whether or not it's good, bad, and different, doesn't matter to me. It needs to be out there now.
Yeah. You dedicated the book to your nana. What do you think she would say to you today?
She would say "Heart, you did it. You did it. You
Mhm.
believed in yourself." Something like that. She called me Heart. We called each other
Isn't that
Heart.
interesting?
Yeah, isn't it? I'm wearing her heart today, right here.
Wow,
She would say, "Heart, I knew you could do it."
that's beautiful. Well, here's the message, I think let's just project that out to everyone. I think we can all do it, and if we slow down long enough and quiet that beautiful mind of ours and ask ourselves some questions and fill the mind with beautiful mental nutrition and little bite-sized nuggets, like just opening up your book to random page. I mean, there's so much that we can do that I think just helps us live with a little bit more peace and excitement, and then we can just take advantage of this unbelievable unbelievable beautiful world that we're all in. If we can see it from that lens, it's all there, it's all possible for all of us, and you're one of those beautiful beacons of light out there guiding us, and, through our conversations, and I say it every time when we text. I mean, I just feel so like the vibes are just so loving and beautiful. I don't take any of that for granted, and there's literally hundreds, if not thousands of people at Vayner at this point that, you're interacting with. And then, of course, the reach of this book and all of the work that you do, like the ripple effect, Claude. I hope you feel that and your heart is full because it's huge. It's huge. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, and from one to another, from one beacon of light to another. Thank you.